Welcome, everyone. I am Chris Gore from Film Threat. This is our annual Oscar preview special. We're going to be talking about all the Oscar categories, every single one. Alan, Ing, and I will be giving you our predictions in preparation for the Film Threat Oscars watch party this Sunday, starting at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Please join us for that. We've got literally an all-star list of YouTubers that will be joining us to watch the Oscars along with you. On this preview special, we'll go through every single category. Before we do that, we're going to talk a couple of other things. Alan and I saw an early screening of John Wick 4. Very excited. We're going to talk about that, our early reaction. Also, joining us on the show at the end of the show, an award-winning filmmaker, April Wright, who did the movie Back to the Drive-In, is going to be joining us for an interview at the end of the show. It's an amazing documentary about the resurgence of drive-in movie theaters across America. This is Hollywood on the Rocks on a Wednesday. This is our Oscar preview special. This is me trying to find the intro to the show so I can press play. Alan, how's it going? How's it going, Alan? Look, there's a lot going on. You are headed to Austin, Texas tomorrow.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, sir?
I'm kind of excited, and then I started looking at my schedule and trying to find films to see. It's a very woke year at South by Southwest.
It does look like it. And I just want everyone to note for a second. I just want everyone to know, because it's worth noting, Alan's hair is on point. Normally, my hair is whatever it does. Alan's hair, he obviously supercuts. Somebody got a very big tip.
No, this is me waking up hair. And
is it really?
Yeah.
Well, it looks good, man. It looks good. But yeah, I'm excited. So on Friday show, this is our normal Friday show. We're going to be talking about 65. Also, we'll talk about Scream 6, and you will be live from South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, giving us the rundown of a lot of the movies.
Yep.
It's
There's some good ones.
There are some good ones. There are some good ones in the mix.
David Dastmalchian has a midnight feature, so I'm plugged in to see that one.
That should be very good. Oh, I do want to mention too, for our Oscars watch party on Sunday, if you are a member of the channel, we're doing giveaways. I have about almost 20 digital codes for the movie The Banshees of Inisherin. We're also doing a Blu-ray giveaway literally throughout the entire watch party. If you're a member, go to the members tab, community tab. You will see I'm just going to be posting a bunch of codes. Every hour on the hour, boom, I'm just dropping codes. So that's why? Because we appreciate our members. And speaking of people in the chat, let's see who's here today on a Wednesday. Your starred comments. Dylan W is a member. Hello, fellow people. Jens Anderson of the Tari says, I am here. Eric K for 2. Chris, watch 1979, All Quiet on the Western Front. Yeah, there's that version. There's the version from the 30s, which was the first based on the novel. Yes. But the All Quiet on the Western Front, the one that's on Netflix, although thankfully I saw it in the theater, is great. So I personally love it. We'll talk about that. Let's see. Robert Paul Champagne says, what does he say?
What does he say?
I can't read it.
69.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Just like Pavlov's dog.
It just sort of rears its ugly head. Yeah. You can't escape it. So
come here, I'm gonna eat you. Get in my belly.
It's so funny whenever anyone does like little memes or videos of us. They make you short and me tall, which is completely the opposite.
No,
it's actually not. It's not true.
Yeah, there's one picture where they actually made me Batman and you Robin, but
Yeah,
For
I
some reason,
deleted.
that's gone. That's no longer around.
I deleted that. We don't need to say that. Hey, here we go. David Glenn says, "How do we, the fans, throw Alan and Chris a party for reaching 69,000 subscribers?" Well, we'll party with you. Hopefully, that happens on Sunday because we're close. We're what, 67,000? I'm going to share screen because I actually want to show people. I want to show something to people. I want to show something to the people. Well, this is going to be confusing. Yes, here's our live Oscars watch party is there. We are, we got the link live. So check that out. But we are 67,800 subs. We have launched 2 new channels. One is our Film Threat Trailers channel, which we're posting new movie trailers every day. You'll get a new movie trailer at noon daily. Please subscribe to that channel. You're going to get like one of the coolest ones, Coffee Wars and Paint. So a lot of weird indie ones that may not like be, be on your radar. We're posting at least one new movie trailer a day. Additionally, we launched another new channel. Gonna go over to it here, which is our Film Threat Interviews channel. It is not launched, but we're taking all the interviews from the current Film Threat channel and we're putting it here. We're going to be doing long form interviews with filmmakers. I really want to do our best to give you access to filmmakers. So we'll do, we'll archive our interviews on this channel. In addition, we'll be doing exclusive content on this channel as we build it up. So we're splitting everything up. Alan, what do you think about that?
I think that's great. 69.
Alan knows what the people want. Hopefully we hit 69,000 during our Oscars live stream.
That would be awesome.
Just over 1,000 to go. Sifax is here. It says, "Hail Chris Gore, Alan, and chat." Sifax, will I see you tomorrow at 65? 65?
By the way, I will be at AMC Burbank next Thursday.
For what?
For Spinning Gold.
Is that a premiere?
I think it's a press screening. You might have gotten invited to it.
I didn't get invited to it. Can I be your +1?
Yeah, unless you want. I mean, we could hang out with everyone, but yeah, I have a +1. So
all right. Let me know. What day is that?
Next Thursday, week from Thursday.
All right. Well, let's do that. All right. Yeah. Mr. Smith says, "Looking forward to John Wick." We're going to talk about it's the first thing we're going to talk about it. Akanika, is today's John Wick review going to be spoilers? Absolutely not.
No.
Definitely not. We're just going to give you our early impressions, just sort of a broad strokes, what we both thought about it. I don't even know if Alan feels the same way as I do, but across the board, everyone I've seen who's talked about it briefly has pretty much the same opinion. We'll get into it. No spoilers. We're going to wait and we will do a spoiler review later because there are a couple major things that must be discussed. David Glenn, I look like Bill the Cat when I wake up.
Oh, Bill the Cat.
Oh my God, I love Bill the Cat. Love Bill the Cat. Hey, Chris,
hey.
How are you? Headed to Star Wars Celebration in a few weeks. I love she's amazing. She came to a screening of Attack of the Doc, which is coming out. I have so many dates to announce. I don't want to bore you with it, but Attack of the Doc is coming out April 24th on video on demand. And we're still working on some legal issues with releasing it. I'm really proud of what we're able to put together. I wish we had done it quicker. The pandemic did not help us, but saw the movie at LA Comic-Con and quite enjoyed it. I always appreciate her support. That's great. You're going to Star Wars Celebration. That's great because that's in Europe.
I know. Wow, that's a big investment for Star Wars Celebration.
I'm going to be enjoying Star Wars Celebration on YouTube. So if you're posting videos from there, I will be watching. Thank you.
I hope they announce movies that won't happen.
Exactly. They've announced so many things that are, I think they're just sort of dialing back the expectations of it. It's sort of reminds me of when Star Trek Vegas kind of was like this big thing and it just sort of got smaller and smaller. But there you go. She's awesome. I watch the late night shows on the Post Geek Singularity. Look it up. Peter Ackery says, saw RRR twice at the AMC Theater in Mass over the weekend. it plays so much better at the theater than it does on Netflix. I agree.
Oh, yes, it does.
RR must be seen in a theater. I've been telling a colleague of mine, his name is Gary Beekler. He does and shout out to Mrs. Nerdrotic. Happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Mrs. Nerdrotic. I'm sure that they'll have a great day today. Mr. and Mrs. Nerdrotic. But yeah, I've been telling him, go see it in a theater. Do not watch it on Netflix, or you got to see it focused in a theater, especially a theater that plays the intermission. I saw it last week. I got to see it. I can't get enough of that movie. Love it. John Manalang, Mr. Gore, Mr. Ing, good day to you, sirs. Dream Profit for $1.99. Have you guys seen the trailer for Moon Garden? I have not.
I have not. Hey, by the way, they did announce that there will be a Natu performance at the Oscar.
There may be a Natu performance of you and I, and I'm not making this up. I have so many special videos. We are only playing once during this Oscars watch party. You will only see these videos one time during the watch party. And if you check out my Twitter feed, I'm gonna go to my Twitter feed. Just go to that Chris Gore. I'm gonna show you what we got going on. Is here. Here we go. Threw me off. We were so late today.
Yeah.
But here we go. This is who we've got lined up. You've got Verbal Riot Show, Paulie from Latino Slang, Gary Beekler's making an appearance, Chato as from Heel versus Babyface, Chato from Call Me Chato. Eric Weber said he will be there, Script Doctor, and this is just there are more people that have been invited. So it's literally just going to be, we'll probably have 9 or 10 people on screen during the entire thing. And we're just going to be rotating people in, kind of tag someone in, tag them out. Christian Toto's going to join us. It's going to be it's going to be pretty awesome. But if we scroll down, I knew there might be complaints. It's like, that looks like just a bunch of dudes. So let's just say we got representation here. We got representation on the show. There we are. And also, by the way, Eric Weber, of course, he had to wear red. Always wants to stand out. So, yeah.
Let's do a physique critique right now.
Anyway, so please join us on Sunday for the watch party. Sort of, just like we're doing here. John Thomas, and we will check out Moon Garden, Dream Profit. I appreciate a heads up. John Thomas for 20. I'll have to watch the new All Quiet. I've seen the old one. I despise the 1971 one because I loathe Richard Thomas as an actor, but Ernest Borgnine was brilliant in it. You see on 1917 in the documentary, They Shall Not Grow Old. I've seen both of those movies. They Shall Not Grow Old, I actually saw in a theater. I thought it was fantastic. It uses that. It was Peter Jackson did it. He uses this technology to fix the jitter, to sharpen the images. And it's photos and video from World War I upgraded, and it looks stunning.
Yeah, not only that, I saw it in 3D.
You saw?
Oh, yeah, even more creepy.
I'm trying to remember if I saw it in 3D or not. I know I saw it at the ArcLight.
Yeah.
Pour one out for the ArcLight, a movie theater chain in that is no longer. But thank you, John Thomas, for that. It's very generous. And we hope that all of you that are watching, 264 people, we're close to 269 people watching live. Wizard Shot, Chrissy Mayer would be great on this Oscar special. I'm going to invite her. And Ty Thompson became a member. Thank you for that. Remember, you're a member now. Make sure to keep an eye on that members tab. We're doing a lot of giveaways. Beerosaurus Rex. My only interest in the Oscars is the film threat discussion. That's great. And Shucksy says Eric Weber said he'd be there. So there's a 25% chance he'll show up. Well, he said he's going to show up for most of it, and then he's going to do his own after show. So what we're going to do is we'll do the show, and then, oh my God, do I want to ruin? I'm not going to ruin something. We're going to tell you something we're going to do. I have this friend of mine. His name is Mark Atkinson. He's an actor and a comedian. We've used him in a lot of bits that we've done for Film Threat. He plays a version of our award when we do award this. So he is going to try to crash an Oscar. He's going to try to crash the Oscars, and he's going to try to crash the Oscar parties after. And he's going to be live doing a live stream from Hollywood Boulevard, dressed in a tuxedo, trying to crash parties. So we're going to cut to him every once in a while in the field, which should be really hilarious. So yeah, Heinlein for $669. Hey, for $669. Paint that wall. What's everyone most excited to watch that is coming soon? Liking Picard, especially last episode. I saw the 3rd episode of Picard. We will definitely check in on it. My problem with Picard, and this isn't anything to do with the show. This is a show that would have done well, I think, if they binged it, maybe in 2 halves. Mm-hmm. Every episode I watch, I'm like, I gotta watch the next episode. I'm only 3 in, and it is great. I just, Alan,
this is what I've been complaining about Kenobi and Andor. You got to know how to do a cliffhanger. Every goddamn episode of Picard ends on this amazing cliffhanger, and you just want. It's like, why am I waiting a full week to see it again? But yeah, it's like, who is this guy who did Picard? And why is he not working more on television?
Yeah, it's my God, it's if Star Trek, if the reboot of Star Trek had started like that, it would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
So we're not talking any Picard spoilers. We're not going to review it every week, but we'll do a check-in on it, maybe every 2-3 episodes, and then we'll do like a sort of season finale, and there you go. So
because clearly we've already dropped the Mandalorian.
yeah. So cool. All right, let's pivot for a second, and I'll tell you why. Let's talk about an early reaction to John Wick 4. This is our early reaction. There'll be no spoilers, and this is not going to be any sort of deep review, but it is worth noting. And let me mention a couple of things about this early reaction to John Wick 4. They screened this movie a month before it opens. You got to have a lot of confidence. The company Lionsgate that is putting this out, a lot of confidence to screen your movie to critics 1 month before it comes out. That's unprecedented. Conversely speaking, critics are just today getting to see screenings of the film 65 starring Adam Driver, which I'll be seeing tomorrow. So I don't know what that tells you about that. Usually if they screen it late or just before, that says something. But screening a movie this early, that is extremely rare. Extremely rare. Now, if you're a fan of the first 3 John Wick movies, I think I'm a fan of the first one for sure. Is absolutely, it's an action movie classic. You know, from John Wick's sort of tragic tale, losing his wife and then his puppy, which was a gift from his wife. How dare the villains of the film do this? But they get their just desserts at the hands of John Wick, who's on a mission. And the action is chef's kiss. The action in the first John Wick is chef's kiss, like something we haven't seen. John Wick 2 and 3, your mileage may vary. I didn't like it as much. I enjoyed it. Why? I enjoyed 2 and 3 because I like Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves just too likable as a character. That's why he's doing horrible things to people who deserve it. But 2 and 3 went down a rabbit hole of lore and all these rules with this assassins, these sort of secretive assassins organizations and how they function. And it got a little over the top in ridiculous ways with regard to the lore. I thought kind of ended a little like with a like, what?
Mm-hmm.
John Wick 3. Yeah, especially 3. John Wick 4 may be one of the greatest action movies ever made. It's almost 3 hours long, very few lulls. I think the filmmakers, the people behind John Wick 4 must have heard some of the criticisms of 2 and 3, and they've dialed back the sort of lore or complex story. You don't need a complex. I'm not going to John Wick 4 to get some complex, nuanced story like a Godfather 2, right? We don't need, all this sort of nuanced, just spell it out for us. These are the bad guys. These are the good guys. Here are some allies. They're pitted against each other. Go. Some of the action sequences in this thing, and they're relentless. They're one after the other, very simple goals, like nothing you've ever seen, leading up to a finale that is a spectacular heights that the John Wick series has not reached. I don't want to describe many of the action sequences, but it just takes everything that you've seen in a previous John Wick movie. It just takes it further. I'm not going to tell you anything more than that, except the first thing I did after I saw it is when tickets for John Wick 4 went on sale, I got tickets immediately. Grabbed seats to see it on opening night because I saw it with maybe like 20, 30 critics, which is fine. But the critics were like blown away. Everyone wanted to just stick around and talk about it. And I was like really put off by the 3-hour running time at first. It breezes by. And there are very few times, look, in any movie, I'll find the best, like, okay, something big just happened. I'm headed to the restroom. I couldn't find a place to go to the restroom in this movie. I did eventually have to dip out once, but I just cannot wait to see this movie with a packed audience. Tickets for this thing, already the screenings are packed with like single seats, right? And conversely, Shazam, The Fury of the Gods, plenty of seats available. The theater's almost empty. I mean, I do plan to see that movie next Thursday, and we will talk about it. We will talk about it next week. But what does that tell you about where people's heads are at? Also, by the way, zero anything woke about it. It's just sort of simple. A man on a mission, and a
high body count.
The highest. Everything you know about all the previous John Wick movies, this ups the ante further and further to ways you're like, you cannot believe, it's mind blowing. So everything you like about the John Wick films, this is more and better and done the best. I will say the action is better than John Wick 1. The action is better. It just is. I'm sorry. Action is better. Having said that, I think that the grounded story from the first one is that you'll always have like a place in your heart for that because it's so emotional. Having said that, there are connections between one. You could literally watch John Wick 1 and then John Wick 4 and skip 2 and 3.
Yeah.
You could. It doesn't matter. So I haven't told you anything. So as promised, it's an early reaction. No spoilers, no details about story. Alan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. This is my favorite movie of the year so far. And looking down the road, I'm not sure I'm going to see anything coming close, maybe up until Mission Impossible.
Or Guardians, maybe. Guardians,
yeah. No, but I don't think all the emotional impact with the Guardians I will have with this movie. Like on Friday, I reviewed Operation Fortune, and I told you that the action sequences are forgettable. I don't remember a single action sequence in Operation Fortune. I remember 3 action sequences in John Wick 4, and I still keep thinking about how amazing it was. There's this amazing car chase. There's an overhead shot of a shootout. There's a fight on a set of stairs that I just keep thinking about over and over again. And you talk about the ending. The ending is such a great contrast to the rest of the movie, and it's a great button for an ending of this movie. This movie is just absolutely brilliant. And I hesitate saying that because I don't want to raise your expectations too high, but I think you can. If you love that first movie, you will absolutely love this movie. Yeah. So I feel like I'm just going to repeat a lot of things you said, but this is an amazing movie. This is my favorite movie so far this year.
Well, let's actually go to the chat. We're not talking spoilers. Let's go to the chat. I want to hear what you think. We have some super chats and some starred comments here. I'm going to save the for the end if it's not on point with John Wick 4. Airsoft 123 was definitely better than 3, but I think 1 is the best. People
3 I feel like had no heart to it. There was no really emotional story in it. The first one you had the dead puppy. Second one, you kind of had there were remnants of that puppy, and then the puppy's completely gone in the third one.
Yeah. Heinlein says, I'll be there opening weekend. Hopefully, he doesn't cut off any fingers in this one. Well, just you got to see it with an audience.
Yeah.
I'm like, I saw it. I was like, we couldn't stop talking about it. I was on like a good movie high. And I watch a lot of movies. Whenever I'm on like a good movie high, when I've seen a good movie, I don't want to watch any other movies for a while because I just want to think about what I just saw. I felt that way about RRR.
I saw it actually with Eric Weber the day after you saw it, and it was a critic screening again, and I swear I've never heard critics scream and groan so much in a movie before. It was
or clap,
yeah, clap,
and laugh too. Gabriel says, yes, Chris Squirrel Bladder Gore. Well, it just has to do with the fact that I have one kidney. So Chris recommends wearing a diaper to John Wick 4 so you don't miss anything, says Shucksy. I strongly recommend it. John Wick diapers. CD Sign 69. Is this a conclusion to John's story or does it give a possibility of a sequel? Let me just say this. I'm going to answer that cryptically for a reason. This could be closure. It could. They could also continue. If they wanted to. So there you go.
Yeah.
But Tom Siebert says John Wick 2-1-3. I like how they raised the lore more in number 2, but it wasn't too much. 3 got too much lore, not enough John Wick.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I would agree.
Yeah, and for some reason the action in 3 just felt overly relentless, and I was just not into it by the end of the movie. You
need moments to breathe. You do need moments to breathe, and there's nothing wrong with that. But this is just an early reaction. It's not a review, as Eric Weber would say. So,
although we are allowed to review it.
Yes, but I don't think it's fair at this point. Yeah. We will do a more extensive review, and we will do a spoiler review after everyone has an opportunity to see it. That is just that's our policy here, and I think it's a fair policy. All right, so now I think we're gonna just have to pivot. Wait, where is that? We're just gonna have to. All right. A couple more comments here before we talk Oscar predictions. And here we go. Matthew Hammond, is Film Threat going to review the documentary for $4.99? Thank you for that. Is Film Threat going to review the documentary Fang and Joe about YouTuber Joseph Carter, the Mink Man, and one of his minks? The trailer looks good. Yes, Film Threat, eventually we review everything. If you subscribe to our Film Threat, our YouTube channel, our trailers channel on YouTube, which is like a sister channel, we're trying to post a lot of trailers for indie movies you would not know about. Hey, one movie trailer a day will make you aware of things outside of Hollywood trailers. Kind of our vision for the channel is we want you to discover movies through the trailers channel. Okay. But we'll eventually cover it. Is that movie Fang and Joe? Alan, can you look that up? Is it out yet? Normally what we like to do with indie movies is we review them at festivals on filmthreat.com. Then eventually what we'll do is when it's out in commercial release, we'll rerun the same review, or we want to make sure that we're reviewing movies you can see, is what I'm saying. Because we get pitched a lot of filmmakers, hey, I just made a movie. It's like, well, can anyone rent it? Can they buy it? Can they see it? And if they can't see it, then we really want to do what will help the film and the filmmakers. And us telling you about a movie you can't see, unless it's something like an early reaction, like a John Wick, it's different. Alan, have we reviewed it yet?
No, but it's a documentary short.
It's a documentary short.
Yeah, so
I'm looking it up.
Now it's kind of like, where can we see it?
Okay, so where is the documentary short? Can you find it?
Well, I mean, I found the IMDb page. That's all it says.
Is it available? Can you buy it? Can you rent it? Where can I see? Go to a thing called Just Watch. Go to Just Watch. Try it. Alan, 10 seconds. All right. Well, we'll get on that. I mean, we'll review movies if you submit the movie to the website. Just go to filmthreat.com, click on the submission button. Maybe one of the filmmakers can send it to us, but I have not heard of this.
Yeah.
Cool.
By the way, Joe Fang is a G.I. Joe villain.
Oh, well, there you are.
Yeah.
Spidey Sensei 72, odd how they didn't just stop at 3 movies like most do. No, I think there's more to tell. I don't want to say anything.
Clearly there was more story to tell, and I'm glad they did the 4th.
I'm glad they did the 4th, but you could literally watch John Wick 1 and then 4. And there you go. And you could look at John Wick 2 and 3 as side missions. So Jason Webster says, I remember last year's Oscars watch party, loved Chris Gore's reaction to each announcement of a winner of a category, especially if it was shock or one that should not have won. Yeah. Lord Thaw says, gonna DL Shazam 2. Hey, I don't know. All I can say is it seems like a lot of people are doing that because no one's buying tickets. That's for sure. Dark Hierophant says, John Wick 4 is one of those movies where I avoided the trailer. I'm going to see it anyway. Trailers sometimes show the ending. I don't want anything spoiled. FYI, the 3rd had the best action. Well,
It had a lot of action.
You may change your mind.
Yeah.
You may change your mind.
Yeah, and I don't think the trailer is going to kill you at all here.
Yeah. And then Pilgrim Media says, maybe we could have a cat fight this year for 2. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be on this live stream. People are going to be rotating out, which is perfectly fine. Monty Smoke just became a YouTube member. We appreciate that. Thank you. And Senator. Look. Normally, you're the one that mispronounces things, Alan. Now it's on me. Senator John Blutarsky. That may be one of my favorite, like at the end of National Lampoon's Animal House. You see like what an idiot that character was through the whole thing. He's the dumbest sort of nearly mute character and barely has any lines, but it's so good. John Belushi was so good. And then it's like they do the little freeze frames and it's like he became a senator. It's like so typical. Says Senator John Blutarsky for 10. I'm looking forward to 2 things. The next Film Threat live stream and John Wick 4. Well, join us on Friday because it's going to be a lot of fun. Alan will be in Austin, Texas. So are you going to be doing a meetup at all? Is there like a party or an event you're going to, Alan, where people can meet you in Texas?
I'm working on my schedule at the moment. So we'll see. I'm going to one party so far.
Well, let people know like where they could meet you. You just look for Alan. Could you just wear Film Threat t-shirts everywhere?
Oh, I could do that. I'll be sweating to death. I don't know.
Is it hot in Austin right now?
I don't know. Actually, last time we went, it was raining.
Yeah. Well, there you go. And thank you, Shucksy. Senator Palpatine, probably one of the greatest senators in galactic history. So,
the greatest.
There you go.
Because of all the good things he did for the Empire.
He did a lot for the galaxy. All right. Here's our Oscar preview special. We are going to share screen. Give me a minute. We're going to share screen with all of the Oscar nominees. Alan and I are going to go through all the categories. Alan, have you seen all of the shorts?
I've seen most of the shorts, not all of them.
I've seen all the live action shorts. I have seen all of the animated shorts. I haven't seen the documentary shorts.
Yeah. The only live action short I didn't see was Ivalu. I've seen the others.
Okay. Let me share screen. We're going to go to oscars.org. We were going to go through all the categories. So here we go. Let's go to awards, Oscars. Where are the nominees? Normally I would have this ready, but Gary, the Nerdrotic Nooner, went way late today. I literally moved my computer into the kitchen to make lunch. So
I will tell you, the Oscar website is horribly organized.
It's not great.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. Okay, can you see that? Should I zoom in?
Yeah, make it zoom in.
Better?
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Is that good? All right. Let me, we're going to start writing. Here are predict. Can you see it okay?
Not really.
No,
If
it's good. All of them can fit on one screen. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and we'll do a couple of categories. We'll go to the chat. We'll do a couple categories, go to the chat. And then April Wright is going to join us in about an hour. So it's going to be an hour of Oscar discussion here. And Alan, could I ask you a favor?
Sure.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut and paste this, put it in the private chat. I need you to keep track of what our predictions are, because you and I are going to make bets.
Okay.
Okay. So private chat. Here's the link to where I am. Go there. You can cut and paste, create a Google Doc. I want you to keep track. Just put like, CG and AN next to like who our picks are. Okay.
Okay. Or one I just I'll just put down our picks for each category.
Well, no, because then we can see, you just list it. Just cut and paste this where I sent you. This is why we need to
I know we need to have done this.
do better show prep.
What I'll do is I'll just write down the category and then we can take care of it afterwards.
Just cut and paste the text. It'll be easier to put our initials. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, Alan. I believe in you. I know you can do it. I know you can do it, man.
Okay.
So, all right.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, yeah. There's only how many categories?
69.
All right, so there's 69. No, it's like I think it's about 20. Is it 20? About 23?
Oh, is it really that many? 1, 2.
How many?
It stinks. It stinks.
Alan, what?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
how
9, 10.
How would you define exploitation, Alan?
Exploitation? Gratuitous. Gratuitousness. Yes, Centaur.
Oh my god. It's live. We make mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've cut and pasted it. And
Yes.
You're just going to put
Yes,
our
we're good to go.
with me later, but I'll use it during our watch.
We're good
party.
to go.
Okay, cool. And wait, we should kick this off with some music. We should kick this off with this is serious. And now our first category, writing original screenplay. A little loud. Okay, where I'm gonna queue up each category with a little bit of music. All right, writing original screenplay. The nominees are The Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, and Triangle of Sadness. Now, normally writing for original screenplay generally goes to an indie movie. If you look at the past winners of writing original screenplay, generally the winners are independent films that don't win for bigger awards. For some reason, the writing category, indie films always get recognition. I have a pick for this category. I think my pick is a lock. My pick is a lock. And that's because this movie is not going to win for Best Picture. And my choice for writing for original screenplay is Tar, written by Todd Field. Alan, what is your pick?
So what we're doing is we're predicting who will actually win versus.
Yes. Well, see, here's the thinking. Let's talk about Oscar pick. Now, there's who you want to win, right? Like, who am I passionate about? Who deserves it, right? And then there is who we think the Academy will choose because they don't always make the best choices and they are much more political. So there's the passion pick and then there's the who I think will win. So it depends on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to win your office Oscar pool? Or are you trying to, what are you actually just, you are putting forth like, I believe this is the best in the category. I'm picking Tar. Alan, what's your pick?
Okay, so my Oscar pool pick, I would agree with you. I think Tar is clearly the best written original screenplay, but I think the Academy will go for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay, cool. All right.
But I would agree with you. I think Tar is the best screenplay
now
on that list.
It might be too early to point this out, but I predict a trend. that Alan is only going to vote for Asians in all categories.
Hey,
I'm gonna I feel like that's
or
gonna be
anyone
a
who
trend.
looks Asian.
If they look Asian or whatever. So, okay, I like it. First of all, this is good because Alan and I, we agree on a lot of things. And then I like when there's some disagreement there on this. Let me go to our next, let me bring it up here. Our next category is writing adapted screenplay. It sounds like so.
Yeah, I think we got to turn that volume down a bit.
This is actually technically, this music is written by Austin Smith. It's the music that we use for Award This. We're just using it for everything award show related. So, writing adapted screenplay, the nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front, Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery, Living, Top Gun Maverick, and Women Talking. Now, I'm split on this one. Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that All Quiet on the Western Front, I think, is fantastic. And I think has a chance to win. But I think, and it's the one I like best in this category, but I think it's going to be Women Talking because they're going to want to see Sarah Polley receive that award. So while All Quiet on the Western Front is kind of my passion pick, and look, I didn't love this movie at all. I think you saw my review. I did not love it. In fact, kind of didn't like a lot of it. But I think Women Talking is going to win this. So put my initials down for Women Talking. Alan, what's your pick?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Women Talking as well. I think I liked it more than you, although I'm very conflicted on this movie. But in terms of a screenplay, in terms of writing, and looking at the list there, I think it has to go to Women Talking in the sense of the use of dialogue and storytelling. I mean, Top Gun Maverick, I like Top Gun Maverick, but is the screenplay something you write home about?
Yeah, I mean, Top Gun Maverick was a very basic 80s blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so refreshing because we hadn't seen something like that. So, but I think Women Talking is going to win it. Also, it's like a virtue signal points because the screenplay was written. I mean, the movie was directed by Sarah Polley and written by her. She is going to be accepting that award. I'm telling you, we're going to give you the edge when it comes to, if you're going to be betting, especially when it comes to the short films, which Alan and I have seen most of them combined. So here we go. All right. Now we're switching categories. I got to figure out an easier way to do this. All right. Switching categories now to, okay. Here we go.
By the way, Maverick is adapted because it's a sequel.
Oh, is that why it's it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And now,
from previous, yeah.
Okay. And now we have category Best Visual Effect. The nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, The Way of Water, The Batman, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and Top Gun Maverick. All right. So does it... I just wonder from everyone in the chat, is that annoying, that music kind of? I think it's fun.
I turned it down a bit. That's
turn it down. All right. We're pretending we're doing this is get ready for Sunday. It's get ready for Sunday. I will be by the end of the show. I will wear a tuxedo, at least the top half. I'll be wearing a tuxedo. But it's I'm gonna be so plastered drunk by the end. Get ready, slouching on my couch. All right. So we have the nominees here. Now, this is an interesting category. I have a theory about this, but this theory has been broken in the last couple of years. Normally, the category Best Visual Effects goes to, the winner of this category is the Best Genre Movie, right? Mm-hmm. So there would be movies that I thought had better visual effects, but they weren't that great. So then the award for Best Visual Effects is like the Best Science Fiction Movie, Best Genre Film. In terms of this is a tough one. This is a tough one. I don't think it's going to go to Top Gun Maverick. And look, do I want it to? Absolutely. 100%. It should go to Top Gun Maverick. I don't think it's going to go to Wakanda Forever because those effects were terrible. It could go to the Batman. It could go to Avatar, The Way of Water. And All Quiet on the Western Front, if you've seen that film, and I did see it in the theater, I'm telling you, the visual effects in this thing and the soundtrack, by the way, which is on Spotify, exceptional music in it. This one I'm tough. Alan, I want to hear your pick first. Visual effects.
Avatar: Way of Water. That's my.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's from a visual sex. I mean, the whole movie is a visual effect.
Did you say visual sex?
No, I said visual effects.
I think somebody clipped that. I think Alan said visual sex. I'm pretty sure he said visuals. I could see how you could slur that.
Because I'm much more into audio sex than I am visual sex. So
well, there you go.
Yeah. But I think in terms of achievement, it was done well. That's all I can say. I think it's a definite improvement from the first one. And so I would give it to that. Top Gun, I would, that's more cinematography than I would say visual effects.
But it's convincing. Avatar: The Way of Water. Look, it's visually, it's gorgeous, it's amazing, it's Cameron. But I really want to see Top Gun Maverick win in this. So while I think that Avatar: Way of Water, I'm going to go Top Gun Maverick, because Top Gun Maverick is going to lose when it comes to Best Picture. You're saying Avatar: Way of Water. This is, to me, this is one of the hardest categories, because there are ways to thread the needle. With the exception of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, there are ways to argue that each one of these has a shot. So, did you mark it, Alan?
Yes, I did. I have Avatar. You have Top Gun.
All right. So here we go. Now, moving on. In the category of sound, the nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, The Batman, Elvis, and Top Gun Maverick. Alan, what are your thoughts on sound? And sound, they combined it into one category.
Yeah.
It used to be, by the way,
sound design.
This category used to be two categories. It used to be sound editing, which is a whole other thing. And then sound, I believe it was like sound mixing or sound design. Those are really two separate jobs. And what they did was they presented those off camera, and people got pissed off. So now it's like, all right, we're just going to combine it into one category.
You guys got so upset. We're going to take one of the categories away and combine it with another.
You know what I'm going to say on this? I really think it's a battle between Avatar and All Quiet on the Western Front. I'm going to go All Quiet on the Western Front. Alan, your thoughts?
Oh, this is a tough one. One movie that should be on here is Tar. Absolutely should have been on here.
Yes,
because if you've seen Tar, you know exactly what I mean. The sound is amazing. The use of sound is even more incredible in a way that you don't expect. So it's not on the list. Gosh. You know
Alan,
what?
I believe in you.
Yeah, you know what? Tell you what, I'll go the popular route. I'm gonna say Top Gun.
Wait, so are we both saying Top Gun?
No, you said All Quiet.
Oh, that's right. All Quiet. I think it's going to be a battle between those two.
I think so.
But All Quiet, my God, like it's just, especially having seen it in the theater. Look, this is my personal pick. It's my personal pick. Okay. And unfortunately, as I've discovered, people have not seen this movie. Not as many people.
I know. Well, definitely not in the theater. Because it did its obligatory Oscar run. Whoops, sorry. Its obligatory Oscar run, and then it's on Netflix.
Yeah, well, look, and someone confirming, Rafael Lopez says he said visual sex. See, I'm right.
That's the best kind.
Yeah, visual. All right. We're going to get to your comments in a minute. Let's just do one more category. Then we'll go to all the starred comments that Alan has been dutifully starring. Thank you, Alan. Alan doing double duty. He's keeping track of our Oscar picks, and he's doing that. Okay. Now this is a good one.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one.
All right. You know what though? Let's actually go to the chat, and then we'll get to that one, because this is where we could really help you all with your Oscar pool here. So here we go to your comments before we continue to proceed. Sean Hu for 742. Did you mean for that to rhyme? Thanks for watching the Oscars and streaming so we can watch you instead and actually be entertained. Well, the whole thing is just have an iPad or like your computer, phone or whatever. Just listen to us. We'll kind of be quiet during, when stuff is
When that
happening.
wins, yeah.
But and then we'll talk during the commercials. But just like we do all of our watch parties. But thank you, Sean Hu for the 742. Immortal Remus for £199. If Top Gun Maverick wins, I would love it. Zach says, bring back Flaccid Phoenix. We should reach out to Flaccid Phoenix.
He has an open invitation. Let's just say that.
Alan, can you remind me to reach out to him?
Okay.
Hey, reach out to him right now. On River. Alan Horkin, I think editor-in-chief Alan Ning knows how to make a list and doesn't need to be micromanaged.
Yeah, Chris.
What? I'm just saying.
I know how to make lists.
Whatever. Toxic Waltz N8 dropping truth bombs. Bros had the best writing. I'm not sure if I agree with that, but it is the way it is. Goof R35 says, not Glass Onion. Rian can't write to save his life. Solomon Thornton.
Going with the Gary pronunciation now.
Yeah. Ryan Johnson. It's Ryan.
It's Ryan.
Solomon Thornton. Top Gun Maverick for me, but political wise, it will be women talking. See? Women talk. I know it. So what do you do? This is the thing with when you're putting together your list. Like, this is what I want to win, but what you want to win is not necessarily how the Academy is going to vote. Okay. Brock Samsonite, All Quiet in the Western Front. He's going to win for cinematography. Yeah, we haven't gotten to that category yet.
Yeah.
We'll get into it. Senator John Blutarski, Chris's top 5 best picture, RRR, second, RRR, 3 RRR, 4 RRR, and 5 TAR, but really RRR. And Paulie from Latino Slant, hopefully he's going to join us. If not, I'm going to plug his channel constantly. Frack Wakanda. Robert Kearney for $4.99. What are we drinking? Champagne, bourbon, martinis? Have to be prepared. I'm probably going to be drinking light because I'll be drinking for a long time. I'm going to try and not start at the top because I think last year I started drinking at the beginning of the show and I was trashed by the end. I think
we went 2 hours past the ceremony too.
It was bad. Brock Samsonite, best sound is Elvis. Fair opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about that one. I really did think about it.
Top Gun with the jets flying. Top Gun says Airsoft 123. Are you into Airsoft 123? Airsoft? I love Airsoft. Wizard Shaq, who's a member, we thank you for that. By the way, if you're a member of the channel, we're giving away a ton of the Banshees of Inisherin. I got codes. I'm giving them away all during the show. So check it out. Wizard Check says, I will be betting on the Oscars on FanDuel. Do you have the best parlay bet? When a bettor makes 2 or more bets and ties them together into one bet. I don't know. You're going to get our picks. So take your pick for a parlay, so to speak.
Yes. And just for clarification, these are the will wins versus the should wins.
Right. I think Alan was just ableist against blind sexual expression. Gonna lose his Disney bucks, says Zavin. And It's Okay to Laugh says, why no love for Triangle? First of all, I love that movie. Love that film, Triangle of Sadness. It is a dark comedy about elitists. The one thing I strongly recommend, please watch the Honest Trailers Oscars edition. It's amazing. Our friend John Bailey does the voiceover for it. It is fantastic. So John Bailey, check it out. It's the Honest Trailers for the Oscars. And there's all these movies. Wizard Shack is saying, what was the pick on sound? I'm picking All Quiet. And then Alan is picking what?
Top Gun.
Yes. Aaron Taylor. Yes. Do those codes work for Canada? I believe it's continental US for the codes. We're giving away some Blu-rays. Those are only US residents only. We're giving away 5 Blu-rays. It's a secret Blu-ray. When we do giveaways, we just give stuff to members. I love our members. Lord Thoth, love me some Honest Trailers. Yeah, no, Honest Trailers, I never miss one. Love it. So cool. All right. Thank you for your comments. Let's go back to our categories here. The next category, to scroll down here. This is now here's the problem. A lot of people have not seen this. Okay. A lot of people have not seen these. So here we are. The categories for short film animation.
Are you doing no live action?
No, yeah, short film live action category. The nominees are An Irish Goodbye, Ivalu, Les Pupilles, Night Ride, The Red Suitcase. Okay, here's what I'll say. I have a favorite in this category. I saw this in a theater. I saw all 5 of these nominees. The best movie in this category is An Irish Goodbye. It's the story of 2 brothers, one who've lost their mother. Their mother's passed away, and they have an urn with her ashes. And the mother supposedly leaves behind a list of the 100. It's her bucket list of the 100 things she wanted to do before she died. And she didn't get to do these things. So the 2 brothers endeavor to do all of these things with her urn filled with ashes. So they go up in a hot air balloon. They do all these things. One of the brothers has Down syndrome, and it's played by a Down syndrome actor. I have a stepbrother who has Down syndrome. So I always like when there's some authenticity to that. And many Down syndrome, my stepbrother's very high functioning. So basically he is like the maturity of like a 13 or 14-year-old, and he has a job and goes about his life. And so I always like when there's some authenticity to it. It's my favorite of these 5 movies. Mm-hmm. Having said that, I'm not sure it's the movie that's going to win. Ivalu, I found very pretentious. Les Pupilles was just really self-indulgent. Yeah. Night Ride, I thought was very funny and features, it was really interesting. This little person sort of takes off on a subway car, not a subway car, like a trolley car, and just was like, she just accidentally kind of sets it off on this ride, and then a trans person kind of joins and is being bullied. I could see that one potentially winning. I thought it was much better than I thought it would be. And then The Red Suitcase is probably going to be the winner because it's political. The Red Suitcase is about a young woman.
Yeah. Muslim woman.
A young Muslim woman on an arranged marriage who wants to escape the arranged marriage. And she's at an airport carrying a red suitcase, and the results of that. It's the one that is the most political of them. Night Ride features a trans character. I had no problem with it. It was a comedy. It was funny.
I thought it was a good one too.
I thought it was a good one. My 2 favorites are Irish Goodbye and Night Ride. If I'm picking the movie I like the best, Irish Goodbye was great. It was funny, just short enough. Ivalu and Les Pupilles, way too long, both of those. But I think the winner is going to be The Red Suitcase. That's okay. Now you've seen these as well, Alan. And a lot of these movies you can find actually on YouTube.
Yeah, like Les Pupilles is on Disney Plus.
And then also there's a website called shorts.tv, and they post all of the Oscar nominated shorts.
I wish yeah, okay.
Alan?
Yeah,
we're always doing live streams. Like, we barely have time to like talk about work.
I know.
But I think The Red Suitcase is going to win because of the political message. But Irish Goodbye is my personal favorite. I'm almost like, could you do a little asterisk on Irish Goodbye? If it wins, I want points. But Red Suitcase is probably, because it's the one that like people are going to vote for, because it's like, all right, cool. It's the theme of it. It's like, women female empowerment, all of that. It's just, It's got all those things circling around it. So the ones that are just, it's not a particularly entertaining movie. It just annoyed the movie kind of annoyed me too, because it's like the suspense was so obvious. It's like, where's the red suitcase? He's looking for a young woman with a red suitcase. Like, it's just, it just went on and on. So I'm not a fan of that movie, but I think it'll probably win. Alan,
this is the funny thing. You and I are exactly the opposite on this one. I liked The Red Suitcase. I don't think it's as political as you say it is. Right. It's a typical story of a woman who lands in a new country, wants to ditch her arranged marriage, and it's just that suspense thing, and I liked it. I bought along with the suspense. Having said that, I think Irish Goodbye is the one that's going to win it, and you know, I think it's the most uplifting. I think the Academy's looking for uplifting and positive, and Irish Goodbye is exactly that.
Alan, I just got some news. I'm changing my vote to Irish Goodbye.
Oh, then you're only gonna get half credit then.
Well, because I watched all 5. It was the last one of the 5 that I saw. It screened last. It was the best.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed Night Ride. It's funny.
Yes, Night Ride was good too.
Yeah, it's funny. It's got I like these stories that are kind of. The story's not exactly the greatest, but just the fact that there's no one in it,
right?
And it's just a nice story told straightforward. I really did enjoy it. It's funny, it's lighthearted, but yeah, Irish Goodbye.
And I like the little interaction between the little person and the trance actor. I thought it just worked. It worked. It felt authentic. So, all right. Well, I'm going with it's hard. Like, do I want to go with my heart, or do I want to go with like what I think the Academy is going to vote? Mm-hmm. So it's a tough one. All right. So now let's take a look at the next category for short film animated. And the nominees are The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, The Flying Sailor, Ice Merchant, My Year of Dicks, and Ostrich Told Me the World was Fake, and I think I believe it. Okay, that last one, the category is like kind of, it's a weird title. Okay,
yeah, I will tell you that the last one there, an Ostrich Told Me the World Was Fake, and I believe it. That's there's a program for Oscar that the Oscars do for student filmmakers, and that was the winner of the student film.
Well, I'll say this. That one, it's sort of, I have 2 favorites in this category. And I'll tell you briefly what these are about. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse is like, it's almost like a children's storybook read aloud. Idris Elba does one of the voices. It's a cute fable, and I thought it was fine.
Yeah. And it's on Apple Plus. You can see it on Apple Plus.
Yeah, nobody has that, Alan. Nobody has Apple Plus. The Flying Sailor is a weird, like, I like it because I used to, as a kid, one of my favorite things was to go to the animation celebration. Then I started going to Spike and Mike. I would go to that every year. When I moved to Los Angeles, they would play it in a theater. And so I love short animated movies. So many great, Beavis and Butthead came from a short animated film that played at Spike and Mike's film festival. The name of the short was Frog Baseball.
Yeah.
Which eventually played on MTV. Flying Sailor is like a weird animation style it's a true story from Canada about an explosion that took place at a dock, and a sailor flew up in the air like 2 kilometers, landed, and lived. And it's about that event. Ice Merchants, I thought, was like an interesting style story of a father and a son, and just sort of, it was just like, oh, cool visual style. And your point is what? My Year of Dicks is sort of I thought My Year of Dicks was great. And I got to tell you something. So when I went to see this in the theater, right, it was a packed theater. I couldn't believe it. A packed theater, and a young mother had brought her 2 kids who sat in the front row of this movie. And right before they showed all 4 of the shorts. And when they got to My Year of Dicks, they said, warning, the next film you're about to see is specifically not for children. If you have children with you, please leave the theater now. It was like this scary warning. We will give you time to collect your belongings and leave. It was like, oh my God. And I'm like, look, at the only kid were this like young mom with her 2 kids. And they were just like, they're watching cartoons, right? They're like, holy cow. The mom got up and left. And then the title of the movie came on and it said My Year of Dicks. And everybody burst out laughing. It was great. Like the whole theater just erupted in applause and laughter. It's really a good, it was played at South by Southwest. It's sort of a mixed media in terms of mixed animation styles. It's got mixes a little bit of live action, but it's a true story of a young woman and she wants to lose her virginity eventually, but it's all about like how her sort of like awkward trying to be with a boy. And it's very personal. It comes from like a true diary that this young woman kept when she was like 15 or 16 years old. And it was about just sort of her fumbling, awkward, bad relationships with, other boys around her age. And it's funny because it's very personal. It's real. They use an animation style that has some realism to it. The stories are hilarious. And it's about 20 minutes, but it's sort of like just telling the story of each boy she interacted with until she finally finds a boy that she feels comfortable enough being intimate with. I thought it was very funny. And I can't wait. I cannot wait for the person to say when they go through the nominees, if it's on camera, say My Year of Dicks.
This way it won't be on camera. I can guarantee you.
It probably won't. But in spite of that, I really, really enjoyed it. In spite of it, the one I liked the most was an ostrich told me the world is fake, and I believe it. It's a stop motion animated movie about a stop motion character that's in some TV commercial that becomes self-aware and alive. So what it does is when you're shooting stop motion animation, I used to make these movies when I was a kid, it kind of pops out of frame and you can see the people around it. And it's the animated character becoming self-aware. It's really cool short. That was my personal favorite. I would say My Year of Dicks is second. The other ones, whatever. Alan, what are your thoughts on the short film animated?
Yeah, so this will be a tough one for me. I've only seen 2.5 of them. I saw Ice Merchants, The Flying Sailor, and half of The Boy, the Mole, The Fox and the Horse. I'm gonna go dark horse here, and I'll go with My Year of Dicks. I've no reason. I do want to see it.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm going to go with that. Just maybe the Academy will find a sense of humor.
I'm going to go with My Year of Dicks also, just because
Okay.
I think it has a message to it. But if you are a fan of animation, an ostrich like that one, put an asterisk on by that. I want that. I want extra credit for that one if it somehow wins. But I think My Year of Dicks is going to win.
Okay.
And they might even do like My Year of Dicks. How would they? Do they just asterisk it? Do they bleep it? How do you do that on the show?
No, you can say My Year of Dicks.
All right. Now we're getting to the two next sections. It's going to be technical awards is what we're coming up on, and then the big awards for the end. So here we go. And now let's talk about the Oscar nominees for production design. Avatar: The Way of Water, Babylon, Elvis, and The Fabelmans for production design. Alan, what are your thoughts on production design among these nominees?
I will say I will go with the film that had the greatest achievement in production design, and I think that's Babylon.
I think so too. I didn't know you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Babylon. I think it's Babylon. Avatar.
I mean, Elvis might come in second, but Babylon definitely.
Babylon for sure. I think it's I think it'll do better in the technical categories.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not a lot of argument there. I can't get all of these on the screen. Oh, Best Picture. We're gonna save that to the end.
Let's skip that one. Yeah.
Let's say that. Okay, we're gonna do this one right now. Here we go. Let's talk about the nominees.
Do we even need to talk about it?
Original song. Music original song. I wonder what the nominees are. Applause from Tell It Like a Woman. Hold My Hand from Top Gun Maverick. Lift Me Up from Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Not To from RRR. And This Is a Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once. Here's the thing. I'm picking Not To. And my understanding is they are going to perform that song at the Oscars because it's only the one Oscar nomination. But I think Lift Me Up from Black Panther could get it. I think Lift Me Up. I want an asterisk next to Lift Me Up because that's my second choice. I think it could, because Not To, for some reason, did not get the love that it was supposed to get from the Oscars. What's your pick, Alan?
RRR, you're saying didn't get love.
Yeah, RRR, yeah.
No, I completely agree. I think it's Not To. It's swept everything so far. I think if there is a second, it's Hold My Hand.
Oh, really? Come on.
Hey,
Lady Gaga?
Yeah, okay. What's the other one? What's the other one you really enjoyed and loved?
None of them. I just
that's you gotta pick one.
I'm thinking not to. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, no, I'm saying if there was a second place, or
if there was a second place, all right, fine.
Look,
I still think it's the Black Panther one.
I don't even remember the Black Panther one.
It's in it's the big, so it's in all the ads.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on here. That was an easy one.
Yeah.
Let's move on to music. Wait, here, I gotta get this set up here. Music original score. And the nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front, Babylon, The Banshees of Inisherin, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, and The Fabelmans. And I'd like to note The Fabelmans, John Williams wrote the score for that. So here's my thought on this. Okay. Justin Hurwitz already won for Babylon at the Golden Globes. He already won. What do I think is the best score of these? It's All Quiet on the Western Front. For anyone who's seen the movie, if you've heard the score on Spotify, it's amazing score. But I think Babylon could also take this. Again, I'm going to go Babylon, but then an asterisk on All Quiet.
You're just hedging your bets here.
Yeah, well, I was telling you, then we'll see how I did. If do I go with my gut or do I go with what I think is going to win? I think Babylon will get that one. Because you know why? Because Hollywood loves itself. And Babylon is a movie about Hollywood. And in particular, Academy members that vote, they love old Hollywood. Anything related to old Hollywood, they love it. So, Alan, your pick?
Yeah, okay, so it is down to two, Babylon being one of them, but I feel like the Academy is going to give it to the Fabelmans. And
really?
I think it's because of John Williams. He's only got a few movies left in him.
Dude, in my head, I can think of the Babylon score, All Quiet score. I can hear it in my head. Can't even hear the Fabelman score. Not at all.
No, I completely agree. But I think if we're going, who's going to win? I think it's the Fabelmans. All
right, fine. I'm glad a lot of our picks are very different. Our picks are someone's going to win. I'm going to keep count, by the way. I know you're going to dip out on the stream early, but I'm going to keep count. And now the nominees for makeup and hairstyling. All Quiet on the Western Front, The Batman, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Elvis, and The Whale. Alan, your thought on makeup and hairstyling?
Yeah, this is a weird category. These movies are very diverse in the way they use makeup and hairstyle. I mean, the reality is there's only one reason The Whale is on this list, and that's Brendan Fraser. I could also see it going to Elvis.
I was going to say Elvis and The Whale are kind of like my top. I will pick. Yeah. I'm probably, man.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, the only reason The Whale's on here is Brendan Fraser. That's it. Yeah. Otherwise, it would not be in the makeup and hair category. I'm gonna go with Elvis.
I'll go with The Whale because I'll say this: the makeup and hairstyling contributed to the performance, contributed to Brendan Fraser's performance, and what helped him get nominated for Best Actor.
Mm-hmm. And my feeling is, was that enough? Will enough of the Academy just say this one thing is what's going to get the Oscar nomination?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. And I think, hey, look, Tom Hanks got into a fat suit. So,
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Now let's go to our other categories here. The next category is international feature film. Oh, wait, I gotta cue. I like the pomp and circumstance of the music. And now, nominees for international feature film: All Quiet on the Western Front, Argentina 1985, Close, EO, The Quiet Girl, maybe I should have mentioned the countries. All Quiet is Germany. Argentina is Argentina. Close is Belgium. EO is Poland. The Quiet Girl is Ireland. Alan, I think it's All Quiet on Western Front. Without
Yeah,
question.
yeah, I think so.
The other one might be Eric saw The Quiet Girl. He was not in love with it. Argentina, it could be Argentina in 1985, but I think it's going to be All Quiet on the Western Front because it's so profoundly those other movies are very small films. All Quiet is a war epic.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about what they're talking about All Quiet on the Western Front. They're not even maybe Argentina, and only because Victoria Alonso is talking about it.
It's going to be All Quiet, I believe.
Yeah.
That's there we go.
Yeah,
right.
I think you're right.
Okay,
More
technical categories as we go down the list here. So here we go. For film editing, the nominees are Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Tar, and Top Gun Maverick. Alan, who is your pick? Which film is your pick?
You know my pick. It's Everything Everywhere All at Once. That whole movie is about editing. There's nothing. The movie is just a constant stream of editing. So I'm giving it to Everything Everywhere All at Once.
To me, it's either Top Gun or Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think Tar could be argued because part of the performance is how it was edited. But I'm going to go EEAAO. Okay. Everything Everywhere All at Once.
And let me remind you about Tar. It's mostly one shots. So there's not a whole lot of editing when it comes to a one shot.
All right. And now we're going to move this along quicker, just like any award show goes too long. The nominees for documentary short film are The Elephant Whisperers, Haul Out, How Do You Measure a Year, The Martha Mitchell Effect, and Stranger at the Gate. Alan, what is your choice? Documentary short film.
I will say I've not seen many of these. We do have reviews for.
We have reviews, I think, for all of them. Wait, did we ever get those roundup stories for the?
Not yet, because I'm still getting reviews in for these.
It would be great. Remember that one year? It was 2019 where we had reviews of all of them, and our site was getting hit with traffic.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Our site is gosh.
Are we? So we're not doing a roundup story, huh?
If I can do it tomorrow before I leave.
But I think The Elephant Whisperers, only because I've heard of that one, because I keep getting releases about it. And when you see how hard they're pushing, this is a guess. This is an educated guess, everyone. I think it's going to be that, only because they do keep pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts?
Yes, I'm going to go How Do You Measure a Year for no other reason than the title sounds interesting. I think I just read our review on it.
It's so funny. We have to read our own website.
I know.
Actually, learn about these. And now here we go. Here we go on this one. Moving on to the next category because we gotta hustle. We gotta hustle.
By the way, How Do You Measure a Year is like Boyhood.
Documentary feature film. The nominees are All That Breathes, All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, Fire of Love, House Made of Splinters, and Navalny. So I am going to go with, I don't think it's going to win. I think what deserves to win is Fire of Love, because it's effectively a found footage movie. It's an archival doc about two scientists, volcanologists, who studied volcanoes, who died tragically. I saw it in a theater. It's fantastic. The other one I know about that could edge is All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, but Fire of Love, I'm picking Fire of Love. Alan, what's your pick?
Oh, you are picking Fire of Love.
Yeah.
I'm picking Fire of Love as well.
All right. Well, there we go.
Yeah. It's definitely the most well-known of the five.
Cool.
Maybe Navalny. They've been really pushing Navalny lately. But I think that one has I think it's the most accessible of the five.
All right. Here we go. We're going to skip directing and go to costume design. And the nominees are Babylon, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. I've seen Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. I've seen Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. I saw it in the theater. It's probably going to win because it's about fashion. It is about fashion and designing costumes. So I think costume designers. Now, my second choice would be Babylon, but I think it's going to go to Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Alan, your thoughts?
Okay. I'm going to go with Elvis.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think, not that I have really any pulse on costume design and what makes it want to win or not, but I think Elvis, I do like the costumes. We're talking Elvis here.
Right.
There's nothing subtle about Elvis, and I think the movie captured a lot of.
It's a gratuitousness.
Yeah, gratuitousness.
Exactly. All right, moving on to our next category. Here we go. It is cinematography. Best cinematography. The nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front, Bardo, Pulse Chronicles of a Handful of Truths, Elvis, Empire of Light, and Tar. This is gonna be a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you why. Because for Empire of Light is the cinematography is by Roger Deakins, who's very popular in the American Society of Cinematographers, the ASC. I think the movies that are in contention are like almost all of these movies that could be good arguments. Tar, Elvis, the same thing, cinematography. I think it's going to go to All Quiet. That's my pick, is All Quiet. Alan, your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get through all of Bardo, but I can tell you the cinematography is very good in it. Empire Light,
it's Roger Deakins, because
I know that's the only reason it's there.
He's a
I
very
feel like that movie was too big for its story.
Right.
And I think the cinematography plays into that. It's just too big. I'm gonna go with Elvis just to mix things up here.
All right, fair enough.
I think Baz Luhrmann has a very distinct style, and I thought it was captured well.
Cool. All right. Oh, this category I know Alan is going to be very excited about.
Yes.
The nominees for animated feature film: Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, The Sea Beast, and Turning Red from Disney. Alan, what is your pick in this category?
Okay, so if we're going with what will win, it will be Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
That's what I was going to say. The same thing.
Yeah.
What do I want to win? Marcel the Shell.
Yeah.
With Shoes On.
Yeah. You and I are on the same page on that one.
Put an asterisk on that. Puss in Boots, though, could be argued. It's very good.
Okay.
But I think Del Toro's Pinocchio, because here's why people forget this. This is partially a popularity contest.
Mm-hmm.
It's partially a popularity contest, and everybody loves Guillermo del Toro, right? Everybody loves it. The fact that Marcel the Shell with Shoes On is in the category is great, but it's going to be Pinocchio. Yeah. You know what I'm glad isn't here? The Pinocchio that was on Disney Plus. That's not awful. That was one of the worst.
Technically, that's not an animated feature. So.
One of the worst movies of the year is that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Now we're in the main categories. Let's go down to director.
And I don't know how Turning Red. I guess
how did that even get in that category? All right.
Okay.
How did that even get in the category? I can't even. Turning Red.
I think they're desperate for another, because either that or it was Pinocchio.
All right. Now we're down to the big categories now. Okay. Here are the nominees for Best Director: The Banshees of Inisherin, Martin McDonagh; Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert; The Fabelmans, Steven Spielberg; Tar, Todd Field; Triangle of Sadness, Ruben Östlund. Alan, who will win for Best Director?
Who will win? It will be the Daniels for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
That is exactly right. That is the correct answer. The Daniels are going to win. They have won it. I think they've won at almost every major award show. Having said that, let me put a little asterisk. The Fabelmans could win. Let me tell you why. Everybody loves Steven Spielberg. It is a very personal story. It is a very good movie for those of you who ventured outside of the, just all right, I'll see the Fabelmans. And people want to see, it'll be the last time Spielberg has an opportunity to, you know, to give a speech at the Oscars. So there's a sentimentality for Spielberg. Don't be surprised if Spielberg wins. Okay.
I
Don't
find
be
it ironic because early in his career, he couldn't even buy an Oscar. Color Purple, for example, couldn't even get that one.
Yeah.
You know, there was a feeling for a very long time that Steven Spielberg was never going to get an Academy Award. And they had to wait till Schindler's List to let it happen.
Right. So he has one, but I do think it's almost like his swan song. Like this movie is like, it's like a love letter to movies partially. It is based very close to his life. I mean, he just says it's his life story. It's a very good Spielberg movie where there have not been very good Spielberg movies in a long time. So don't be surprised if that one is an upset, but EEAO, the Daniels winning is, I mean,
yeah.
It's
I'm just saying, I did not like the Fabelmans as much as you did.
Okay, now things are going to go really quick here.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let me. I got to cue this up. And the nominees are for actress in a supporting role: Angela Bassett for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Hong Chow for The Whale, Carrie Condon, The Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie Lee Curtis, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, and Stephanie Hsu, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Alan, who is going to win?
Angela Bassett will win.
Angela Bassett will win.
Yeah.
There's really not a lot of argument here.
Yeah. I will say, as much as we disliked Wakanda Forever, Angela Bassett was especially good in it. And I think, and I even thought about it while watching it, that she'll get an Oscar nomination for this. Then this will be the only Oscar nomination this movie deserves.
But look, I love Angela Bassett. She should have played Storm in the X-Men. If they reboot, nothing Marvel does is going to be of interest going forward. All the Disneyfication of Marvel and Star Wars has destroyed both of those brands.
Yeah.
Destroyed it. Okay, and now
I would say they never should have killed her in Wakanda Forever. All right.
Yes. Spoiler. Actor in a wait, no, darn it. I did it wrong. Screwing this up. Okay, no, I had it right. Dang it. Got it. Forgive me, folks. Actor in a supporting role: Brendan Gleeson for The Banshees of Inisherin, Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway, Judd Hirsch for The Fabelmans, Mary Keoghan for The Banshees of Inisherin, and Kihei Kwan for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Alan, who's going to take home the gold?
Okay. I was going to say Judd Hirsch, but I feel like that if he was in the movie for 4 minutes instead of 3 minutes, it would have made the difference. But it's Kihei Kwan.
Judd Hirsch, I'm surprised he was even nominated because what does he have, like,
barely in it? He was barely in it. I thought when Uncle Judd arrives, he would be in for the rest of the movie, and he's in and he's out. That was it. He tells the story.
No disrespect to Kihei Kwan, who's going to win. That is my pick. Kihei Kwan is going to win. Brian Tyree Henry is fantastic in Causeway. He really is the second lead in that film. He is amazing. Put an asterisk next to his name. That could be an upset because everyone's like, it could be an upset. Let me tell you why. Oscar voting happens late. They just finished Oscar voting last week. We have seen Kihei Kwan win every major award at every award show. Other people might be, you know what? Other voters thinking might be Kihei Kwan is won everywhere else. Why don't we just give it? I'm gonna vote for Brian just because he was.
You're gonna vote for him?
No. I'm saying Kihei Kwan is my winner's choice. If there's an upset, it's Brian Tyree Henry. So put an asterisk.
So you're saying it's the should win versus the will win?
No, I'm not saying should necessarily. I'm saying that, like, because Kihei Kwan has already won so much, a lot of people just say, well, that's why it's like you kind of want to, like, you know, everyone's like, oh, this person's going to win. You never know. There could be upsets. I'm saying there could be an upset with Brian Tyree Henry.
I just question
it's on Apple TV Plus, actually.
I just question if Oscars even thinks that way, if Academy voters think that way in terms of, you know, oh, they've won everything so far, so I'm not going to vote for that person. I don't know that they do that.
All right, we got to hurry because we have
Yeah.
our special guest joining us
Yes.
in about 10 minutes, but we'll get
Well,
to
we have
your-
3 categories, so let's do this.
only 3 more categories. So let's go. I'm going to go with this dumb thing of playing music. And now, actress in a leading role. Actress in a leading role. The nominees are it's Kate Blanchett for Tar, Anna de Armas for Blonde, Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie, Michelle Williams for The Fabelmans, and Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Okay, now it's between 2 people here.
Yeah.
It's Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once or Kate Blanchett for Tar. Both have won at different award shows. What is going to happen, Alan?
It will. Let's be clear. Michelle Yeoh won for Best Comedy, and Kate Blanchett won for Best Drama at the Golden Globes. It'll be Kate Blanchett. I think so. Yeah, I think so. That role. I mean, hands down, that was an amazing performance. It was. It pushes an actor that role of I forget the name, but Tar. It's such a complex. Not every actor can do that role, and so that's why I'm going to give it to Kate Blanchett. It's a phenomenal performance, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Kate Blanchett too, but put an asterisk next to Michelle Yeoh because there could be an upset. Again, another one of the cases of Academy voters have seen Kate Blanchett win, and then she won, and then she won again, and then she won again.
Yeah.
And they might say, you know what? I'd like to see Michelle Yeoh win. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I would say if there was an upset, it would definitely be in this category versus any of the other ones.
Right. All right. And now we go to, did I pass it? It's actor now.
Yeah, actor. Very top. There you go.
Very top. Okay. Here we go. And the nominees are for actor in a leading role. Austin Butler for Elvis. Colin Farrell, The Banshees of Inisherin. Brendan Fraser for The Whale. Paul Mescal for Aftersun. And Bill Nye for Living. Alan, who will win at Best Actor?
Yeah, this is a tough one. It seems easy, but it's a tough one. It's between Brendan Fraser and Austin Butler. And I don't know. Part of me is like, my gut tells me Brendan Fraser will win, but I'm going to say it's Austin Butler.
And I'm going to say Brendan Fraser. Here's why. If Austin Butler was, because Austin Butler is a young kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's a young kid, and he will have many more opportunities to win an Oscar. Many more, if he can lose that accent. But, Brendan Fraser this is sort of he's a very well liked in Hollywood, although he had some falling out with some producers, my understanding. But he's very well liked. I think people in general like Brendan Fraser. I think he's going to win. I think Austin Butler it won't be his last time being nominated for an Oscar, but I really think Brendan Fraser for The Whale is going to win for actor. Pretty confident in that.
Yeah, the only thing I don't agree with, I don't think we'll be seeing Austin Butler at the Academy Awards again.
Well, I also think that is it a better performance? It could be. It's so.
It is a better performance.
I think it's a better performance. I really do. I think a lot of the makeup did the acting for Brendan Fraser.
Mm-hmm.
No disrespect.
Yeah. And there's a sentimentality behind that role that's won him that award so far.
But Austin Butler, it's a full body performance.
Yeah. And even though he didn't look like Elvis, he sounded like Elvis.
I thought he looked like Elvis.
No, I don't think he looked like Elvis. But but it didn't matter at that point because the performance made him Elvis.
Right. All right. And now, where's Best Picture? Did they put it down?
It's alphabetically P. There it is, right there.
Okay. Best Picture. All right. Here we go. Our final category, folks. Then we'll go to your chat comments and questions. Here we go. The nominees for Best Picture. All Quiet on the Western Front. Avatar, The Way of Water. Banshees of Inisherin. Elvis. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. The Fabelmans. Tar. Top Gun Maverick. Triangle of Sadness. Women Talking. Alan, who is going to win for Best Picture?
Yes. I'm going to make Eric Weber's head explode. And I'm going to say Everything Everywhere All at Once. It is my favorite movie of the year. And I think it will win. It's won the big prize so far. I think it's going to do it this time. So, yeah.
This is our winner's music.
I know. So Eric Weber, you're wrong. It is a great movie, and it will win. And no, it's light years better than Coda.
Well, it's been sweeping every award show.
Mm-hmm. Every award show.
Do I go with the one that of these movies I love the best? Which I'll tell you what that movie is. It's All Quiet on the Western Front. RRR should have been on this list and it would have been my pick, but it's not. I have to choose from among these movies. All Quiet, and I believe it's an important film. Why? Because we're living in a time where there is war happening in our world as we speak, funded by this country.
Our tax dollars.
Our tax dollars are funding a current war that is happening. And you can never have too many movies, I think, talking about the horrors of war. I think it's a more important film. So my pick is All Quiet on the Western Front. Because at the end of the day, while I agree Everything Everywhere All at Once, and not my favorite movie of this year, I thought it was too long, I had problems. I think it's the best multiverse movie. But I'm picking All Quiet on the Western Front to win. But I think you could be right. I think I think Everything Everywhere All at Once, just as much chance to win in this. But the fact that they like just throw, here's 10 movies. I don't like that. I think it should have been 5. And the reason they expanded it to 10 is because of the year that The Dark Knight came out. A lot of people felt that The Dark Knight should have been nominated for Best Picture. So there you go. Those are our picks. Alan, can you share the Google Doc with me when you're done? I'm going to continue to micromanage you with, first of all, I hate micromanaging. First of all, it's more work for me, but I don't like it. Here we go. I'm going to go to your comments here. Bass player 2011 became a YouTube member. Thank you for that. Solomon Thornton says, I'm going with An Irish Goodbye. Airsoft 123, based off titles, I guess Night Ride. Zavin became a new member. Hey, look, we got some contests coming up. There's a chance to win. David Glenn, Dick Sargent, Dick York, Dick Van Patten, talking about my year of dicks. That could also be my year of dicks. Chris, was it uncut? Says more MAGA. I don't know what that's a reference to. Here we go. Yeah, there's a good documentary on Spike and Mike called Animation Outlaws, says William Joseph Dunn. Yes, I love that documentary. I love that Animation Outlaws. It's all about Spike and Mike. I've seen it many times. Great.
And we did a watch party with it.
Did a watch party for that's on the channel. Spike is there. It's great. Shuxy says, Chris loved My Year of Dicks. So there you go. Immortal Remus for 199 pounds. Where can I watch these Oscar nominated shorts? One, you can look them up just on YouTube. Some of them are on YouTube. The other thing is to go to a website called shorts.tv. Bros had hair that was fabulous, says Toxic Waltz N8. Well, I did think it could. Did Bros get any nominations?
No, it didn't. Although Critics' Choice gave it nominated for Best Comedy.
All right, there you go. Peter Ackery says, I think Chris intentionally stutters the word R so he can say RRR. Well, you're not wrong. Airsoft 123, Alan, thank you. Everyone seems to think he looks like Elvis. Look nothing like him.
Yeah.
There you go.
You don't have to look like it. That's,
yeah. Aaron Taylor says, I agree with Alan. Tar was a movie that could have been an absolute drag. That performance made it such an engaging and thrilling ride. CD Stein 69 says, Short Round takes the award. Brendan Gleeson was great in a twisted role in Banshees. So, yeah. And Nicholas Vargo says, sadly, Angela Bassett is winning supporting actress. I would prefer Carrie Condon or Jamie Lee Curtis, but I highly doubt anyone is upsetting Bassett. I think you're right. Airsoft123, putting it that way, it's definitely going to be Spielberg. Not gonna lie, I never even heard of the Fablemans before today, though. Lol. That's what's really sad is
no one else heard of it either.
I mean, look, so many people haven't seen the movies. This is why the ratings for the Oscars continue to plummet. They continue to plummet. It's because basically we're highlighting movies that people haven't seen. By the way, our special guest is going to be joining us momentarily. April Wright is in our digital green room. She will be joining us very shortly to talk about her film that is now on VOD. A Dream Prophet for Buck99 says Mia Goth being snubbed is a crime. She was so great in Pearl. That 5-minute monologue, insane. Yeah, there were some big snubs. Alan, any big snubs come to mind?
Well, RRR obviously. I'm trying to think. I don't think so. I have to think about that for a bit.
I'm always catching Alan off guard.
I know. It's not something I thought about.
Question.
Since the nominations.
RRR is the biggest snub. It should have been nominated in many more categories.
Mm-hmm.
Immortal Remus for £4.99 says, I hope Top Gun Maverick wins Best Picture because it is a film the global public, myself included, had been waiting for before its first trailer. Hell yeah. And you've got your little emoji has the Tom Cruise sunglasses, which I appreciate. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's weird because you can there's charts you can look up where it tracks the ratings of the Oscars and the popularity of the movies. So the movies that are when the Oscars started, because it used to be that there'd be some little side smaller art films or indie films that would get Oscar nominations, but it was the Oscars really were given to the films that were the most popular, which they're popular at the box office, popular among audiences. But these days, that is not the way things are. In a lot of movies, Women Talking, no one has heard of that film. It tanked at the box office. It was in wide release, but the
title didn't help it out at all.
Yeah. I feel like that movie. Same thing with the movie She Said. 0 nominations for She Said, which I thought was a fantastic film, but I knew it was going to bomb. I just knew it. The public just doesn't have the stomach for it. Pirate Queen says, what happened to the nomination for The Mother and Till? That's the actress's name is Danielle Deadwyler. She was fantastic. Yep. She was snubbed.
Yep.
I feel like she should have been Best Actress nominee. Danielle Deadwyler. By the way, Danielle Deadwyler did a watch party on our channel, which was fantastic. God, why am I spacing on the name of the movie? It was a Southern Gothic action movie with Danielle Deadwyler. So good. And she did a watch party. It was great. Fantastic. So there you go. All right. Those are Alan and I's picks. This is our Oscar preview special.
By the way, it was called The Devil to Pay.
The Devil to Pay, which is a great little indie movie. Really, really love that film. Let's pivot as we bring on our special guest. I think it's time that we pivot. The movie Back to the Drive-In. Wait, sorry. I got to start this over. Here we go. The movie Back to the Drive-In is a celebration of the drive-in movie theater, the drive-in movie experience, and the passionate owners of drive-ins across the United States. April Wright, the documentary filmmaker who did, she's done a series of amazing documentaries. One about movie palaces you have to see that is fantastic. During the pandemic, drive-ins made a return. We couldn't go to the movie theater. We had to social distance in our cars as we watched movies. And drive-ins, there was a resurgence of drive-ins during the pandemic. April Wright took it as an opportunity to travel all across the countries to drive-ins all over the place, interviewed the owners. I personally, I love this documentary, but also I love the drive-in experience. I'm just going to say right here on my shelf, I stole this. Oops. I stole this drive-in speaker. Okay. And I had this chromed. It's from the Oak Drive-In in Royal Oak, Michigan. It is the old school drive-in speaker. It's made of metal, kind of a tinny sound. It had a cable that came out the back that you would attach to your car. There'd always inadvertently be someone who would like forget. They would drive away and leave it on their car. It would mess it up. There'd always be someone whose car, like they left their car on and they didn't charge their battery at intermission. I stole this after the Oak Drive-In closed. I ripped it off. I have had it since I was a teenager. I painted it chrome, although it's not looking as good these days. April Wright is here to talk about her doc. I'm very excited to talk to her. April Wright, also, by the way, a nominee and a winner. You won a winner for this.
Yes,
that's right. I think there's a future nomination coming for you as well. Could be for Back to the Drive-In. It fulfills all of the. There's only 2 requirements: being reviewed on Film Threat and being available in commercial release. But April, it's so good to have you on the show.
Well, I'm excited to be here. Now, the Oak Drive-In, we did a watch party a while ago for my first drive-in documentary, Going Attractions, the definitive story of the American drive-in movie. And I found some old footage of the Oak in its heyday. And it's in that film. So I don't know if you remember that, but
wow.
that screen and the big OAK with like the light around those letters, it probably looked more run down in the time when you were going there versus when it first opened. But that is a favorite of mine. So I can't believe that you have a speaker from there. That's really cool.
Right here. No, I walked by the Oak Drive-In home from school every day.
Was it closed or it was still going?
No, it was still going. In fact, weird story. I snuck in, the typical thing, sneaking in the drive-in.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine had like a beat up Impala, which is a big honking gas guzzler from the early 70s. This big Impala that was just, we used to call him a rust bucket.
Oh, I know Impalas. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it was so rusted. I snuck in the trunk. My friends put me in the trunk and they didn't want to open the trunk because it would be really obvious that some kid is emerging from the trunk. I slid through the rear quarter panel because it was so rusted out, and I just slid right through, and then I was able to just hang with my friends. I didn't have to pay to go into the drive-in. We saved a little money, but yeah, I the whole drive-in experience. I have memories of my parents when I was a kid took me to the Oak Drive-In when I was little. And this was when you would go to the drive-in, they would put you in your pajamas because they knew you're going to fall asleep. They did a marathon, all of the Planet of the Apes movies.
Oh, I'm so jealous. That would be awesome.
That was great. But April, I'm a fan of yours. You won for your stunt woman documentary. I think it was nominated in several categories, actually, for Award This, which is happening June 10th. Tickets are going to be on sale in, I want to say, May. So we've moved the event to later in the year. But tell us about Back to the Drive-In. I kind of gave a little taste of like how the project came about, and we have a bunch of questions for you in the chat. But tell us how the evolution of this project.
Okay, so I did make my first ever documentary, which we were just talking about, was about drive-ins, and then I wanted to do a follow-up. And it's kind of funny because right before lockdown, so in February of 2020, I went to the drive-in owners convention down in Florida. So a lot of the owners are part of this association. And I told them I wanted to do a follow-up. And some of them were like, well, why do you want to do this topic again? And I was like on stage with a mic and I'm like, because there are drones. And they didn't know if I was serious or not, but I was kind of serious because when I made the first documentary, I even shot most of that one in standard def because I was shooting it in kind of like the mid 2000s. Some of the interviews were in high def, but I couldn't get into some of the properties because they were overgrown and I didn't want to trespass or whatever. And so I really was thinking, boy, if I had drones, imagine the shots I could get of these drive-ins. So that was one of the incentives. And you'll see in the new one, Back to the Drive-In, there's a lot of drone cinematography, and I got a drone and I learned how to pilot the drone. So I'm pretty good at it now. But also, I just wanted to show the owners, like you said, they're mostly all family owned. Even if they have more than one location, they're family businesses. And I just wanted to pull back the curtain a little bit and show some of the people and how hard they work and how determined they are to keep their drive-ins going, to keep them around for future generations. And I'd gotten to know some of the owners after making the first film. And then COVID hit a month later. And it was, obviously the drive-ins got a lot of attention during that time. I was a little nervous about getting on the road then because everything was up in the air. Like I didn't know if I would get places and they would be closed, or, all those rules were changing really rapidly about what could be open and what couldn't. So I actually went out in the summer of 2021 and I did drive the whole country. So I'm from Chicago, but I live in LA. So I went LA to Texas, up to Nebraska, through the Midwest, up to Niagara Falls area, Buffalo, Cape Cod, Baltimore, and drove back. And I visited 11 drive-ins, 8 different states, because I wanted to just show every type of drive-in, big ones, 7 screens, single screens, old ones that had, been around for decades. I went to one that was brand new that had only been open a few weeks when I got there. I went to like the one in Fort Worth is in a city. You can see the huge buildings. I went to some that are very rural. You can see from the drone shot there's nothing around them. Different types of food, some that show new movies, retro movies. So every difference I could find, I just picked a bunch of different drive-ins, including for people in LA, the Mission Tiki here, which finally closed just for good just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. I'm so bummed out about that.
Your film is how I found out that the Mission Tiki was closing.
It's such a bummer. Is the Vineland's still open, right? Or no?
No.
That one's gone too.
That is up in the air. The same people that own the Vineland own the Cinerama Dome.
Yeah.
And they also own the Warner Hollywood on Hollywood Boulevard, which has been closed for decades. So I don't know. The flea market was continuing to run the movies for a little while, but then they were having trouble getting movies. So they stopped. So there's no movies on screen at the Vineland either. The only, authentic old drive-in, is the Paramount Drive-In, which is at like the 710 and the 105.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, and it was a swap meet for like ever, and then the same family opened an indoor on the same property, and then maybe like 7 years they put their screens back up and reopened it as a drive-in, and that one's still open. And then the Rhodium in Torrance also shows movies, but not every day. They show them like in the weekends when it gets a little warmer, and that's like the only places putting things on screen, except for some of the more rooftop drive-ins and stuff like that.
I mean, first of all, I love the whole ritual of going to the drive-in. It's like the best way to describe it. It's tailgating with movies, and also a movie that would be considered a bad film is actually good at a drive-in.
It'd be a great film at a drive-in. Yeah. Oh yeah. You see a horror movie and like right near you are woods or trees. Who knows what could be lurking. The weather can be part of the experience to make things more scary. If it's a scary movie, you can talk to the people you're with and not bother anybody else. So yeah, it's a more fun, it's just a different experience. I mean, I love going to movies anywhere, but yeah, the drive-in experience is really unique and just beyond the movie. It goes beyond the movie. It's a whole experience.
For sure. I even go so far as to like, I would have, this is my drive-in, my perfect drive-in setup is you park 2 cars next to each other, an empty space in the center. You close your windows on this side, open all the windows on the side facing the empty spot, and you set up lawn chairs, sit outside watching the movie, and it creates almost like a surround sound speaker because you've got sound coming from both cars bombarding you in the center. Then you stick your cooler out there and you have your beverage of choice. I just love the way that you document it because, April, please take this the right way. You are a movie nerd. You are a legit movie nerd. Especially I know this from the Movie Palace documentary, which we talked about. I love that film as well. Leonard Maltin's in that. But now back to the drive-in. It's available now on video on demand. Is that right?
Available Tuesday. Comes out March 14th on VOD. So anywhere you can rent or buy a new movie, you can find it on Tuesday. It was in theaters like last summer and fall. I played at a lot of drive-ins and a lot of indoor theaters. And so now it's finally going out more wide on the video on demand.
It's really interesting because we've seen, I mean, as an indie filmmaker, cataclysmic change in the industry and the business is a given. It just is. If you're an indie filmmaker, you're always struggling for one reason or another. And a lot of cataclysmic change is ongoing. You know, how TV changed. Drive-ins at their height were what? There were almost 6,000 drive-in movie theaters in the US. Now it's down to like what?
Over 5,000, maybe
Yeah.
not quite 6,000, but yeah, a lot.
Yeah, and now it's down to like maybe 300-400, if that.
It was like 305 going into the pandemic. Now it's below 300.
Yeah. So
it's actually fallen off since the pandemic, surprisingly, even though they got a lot of attention.
this is why, I mean, movie palaces are also a thing of the past. It's more used for shows or Broadway plays and whatnot. So when people say, movie theaters will never go away, it's not true. They could be much reduced in size. I mean, you're an LA resident, you know the Cinerama Dome, the ArcLight theater chain. I was very loyal to that chain, and them going away was heartbreaking.
Yeah. And they played a lot of indie product too, which is tough. Yeah, the industry's definitely in transition. Where all the pieces are going to land, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a little optimism that the studios for a while kind of, I think, wanted to test the model of what if we don't go to theaters, what if we just stream, and the pandemic gave them a chance to do that. And I don't think it was a great experiment for most of them. I don't think the numbers turned out very well. They realized that movies do a lot better all the way down the line if they have that theatrical piece. So I think we're going to see a lot more in theaters this year and definitely the year after. You just now people have to come back to theaters.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We have a lot of questions for you in the chat. Let's go to these questions and comments. The Nerd Far Away says, I miss drive-in theaters. The last movie I saw in my hometown drive-in was Twister.
Well, that's a great one because the theater in Twister gets destroyed by a twister.
I think probably the best movie to watch at a drive-in, I'm sure you've seen it, Targets.
Oh, yeah.
Targets by Peter Bogdanovich. Look up
There's
the
a
movie.
sniper at the drive-in.
He's a sniper at the drive-in. Oh man, it's what a great movie. It had that sort of self-reflexive thing. And Jamie G, Voltaic Blood, who's a member, thank you. Chris is a drive-in thief. My apologies. Solomon Thornton says, I saw Star Wars A New Hope at the drive-in theater with my mom and dad when I was 7 years old. It inspired me to get into filmmaking. Looking forward to seeing this doc. It's get it. It's on pre-order. You can see it next week.
Yeah.
Dylan W is a member. Question for April. What was the budget? And as a fellow Wright, did kids ever call you April wrong in school?
Yes. I've had many variations on my name, but I often get more names on April than Wright for some reason.
There you go.
But like April, May, June, and all sorts of things that people think they just thought of for the first time.
Right.
But the budget, well, I mean, this is definitely indie film budget because I made almost the entire thing myself. It was something I could make during the pandemic without really a big crew. So when I went out to Mission Tiki here in LA, I did have a couple people come with me, but when I did that road trip, it was only me. So I had my main Canon camera, I had my drone, I had a GoPro that I used for time lapse to show the drive-in empty to full, day to night. And then I knew between those three, I had plenty to cut. And then when I got back from the trip, I was also the editor. So I cut this whole film. So, I'm just paying myself is the budget for the whole thing, the gas to take the trip and the hotel rooms and all of that. But then, of course, post, I used the same composer that I had for the Movie Palace documentary, did the score for this, and he's fantastic. The same audio guy, the same post house. So you kind of get people that you've been working with. So the budget was just, what can I make? That was the other thing too. Like during the pandemic, I was just like, I can't come out of the other side of the pandemic without a new film. Because like you were saying for award this, it was actually Stunt Women and Movie Palaces that got nominations. Stunt Women I did win, which thank you. That was such a fun night. We did it at a drive-in on the at Frida. The awards
Yeah.
show was a drive-in awards show, which was the best thing for me. But those two had come out kind of coming into and during COVID. And it was like, I had a lot of great momentum with those films. I was winning awards, obviously, but I was just like, okay, well, now things are changing. I got to make something new. I can't come out the other side of the pandemic without a new film. And this was one I knew I could get on the road and make. So yeah, it's very much me in this film. My hands are all over it.
Kara, who's a member, asked, question for April. How many drive-ins did you visit during the filming?
There's 11 drive-ins in 8 different states that are primary in the film. And then there's a few others I visited that I kind of hit in the end credits, or I have a couple images from in the film that weren't really the featured ones, but they were just some extra ones I happened to visit along the way. So in the whole trip cross country, also I just stop and visit drive-ins when I'm in the areas. I probably went to 25 or 30 drive-ins just driving cross country, but there's 11 in the film.
Cool. Some comments here. Lubitch Touch Me says, I wish they still had the speakers. Nearly every night, a car at our drive-in needs a jump. I bought a boombox so I don't have to worry about it. Oh, that's cool. The dog catcher says 1964 Impala, land yachter's dream. John Long last name says, I traveled from Louisiana to the Mahoning drive-in theater on a mountaintop in Layton, Pennsylvania for an event. I highly recommend getting involved in drive-ins. And
that's
April,
one drive-in that I really want to visit one day.
Yeah. Zavin asks, April, are there any current movie genres that would work especially well at a drive-in theater?
Well, they all say their bread and butter right now is family films, that families are drawn to the drive-in. So a lot of things that the studios make, the Pixar movies and the Marvel movies and those types of things, do really well at drive-ins. But during the pandemic, when those weren't coming out theatrically, horror had a really big resurgence. There were some of the next tier studios like A24 and I forget some of them, IFC Films and things like that, that put a lot of horror and genre into drive-ins, and they actually did really well. So now there's kind of a renewed drive-in horror thing. And then they play a lot of retro movies as well, like Grease always does well. Anytime a drive-in plays it, Back to the Future, there's just a lot of things that people never got to see on the big screen, and they get a chance to go do it, and it's a movie they know. So all those things do really well. The things that don't do well at a drive-in would be like some things I heard you talking about, women talking. I don't think anybody could handle that at a drive-in. Anything that you got to pay too much attention to, you got to have something a little lighter that you only half have to pay attention to at the drive-in.
Lubitch Touch Me asks, what is your favorite drive-in location? Can you even answer that? It would be tough.
I can't. No, they're all my favorites for different reasons.
The dog catcher says 99W Drive-In is still going strong in Newburgh, Oregon since 1953. Francis family owned and operated.
Yeah, it's a great one. I've been there, and I just saw Brian Francis at the drive-in conference this February, a month or so ago. And when I went to the drive-in convention this year, really cool thing, they actually, even though I'm not a drive-in owner, they made me an honorary member.
Oh, wow.
For all the work I've done and all the drive-in visiting I've done. So that was a huge honor for me.
So this is a good question from Chief Brody. Asks, April, what on earth do I have to do to see Jaws at the drive-in? I'll say this. I saw it at the Mission Tiki on 4th of July weekend. It was awesome. It was packed, the Mission Tiki. And that was during the pandemic. I don't know. Jaws is probably the perfect drive-in movie.
It's great. A lot of them play it. They played at the Wellfleet in Cape Cod because it's sort of the environment where the movie happens. But yeah, just keep an eye out because a lot of them will play Jaws. My first drive-in movie, there was another drive-in near the 99W in Portland area. It's closed now. It's demolished now. But my first drive-in documentary played as a double feature with Jaws. So I got to be a double feature with Jaws. Me and Spielberg, kept the night going at that drive-in. So that was one of my coolest experiences. That was really fun. But yeah, it's an awesome drive-in movie.
Jason Webster comments, says drive-ins were great for many reasons. 1, you could watch films on a screen bigger than a cinema from the comfort of your car seat. 2, bring your food and see movies under the stars. Pirate Queen says, April, did you visit the drive-in Springfield, Illinois near the water park?
I have been to that one. I didn't visit it on this trip. The one that's in the film that's not far from there is the Harvest Moon, which is in Gibson City, Illinois, not far from there. But I have been to that one before.
Dylan W's, who's a member, says, out here in Texas, there's a drive-in theater where the seats are in a pool. The first film they showed was Jaws and had guys swimming in the water, tugging on people's feet. I love that. But
yeah, I saw photos of that. I don't know if I would want to do that, but I saw photos.
A lot of people in the chat are asking like what drive-ins are covered. Well, you got to see the movie and you'll find out. So buy or rent the film. It comes out next Tuesday. And Dream Profit for $4.99 says, great pull. I love Targets. Can't wait to check out the documentary. I love drive-ins. Take my money. What's one of your favorite drive-in memories, April?
You know, people always ask me this. I went with my mom took us as a kid all the time. There were 3 drive-ins still open. This is north of Chicago where I grew up. It was just such a common thing I did all the time that I don't really have like a specific memory about it. And then I went in high school. I can tell you a funny story from high school. One of my teachers from high school, my government teacher, was also the projectionist at the drive-in. So my boyfriend and I would go like every weekend in the summer, and at the gate, we would just use his first name and just say, oh, Lou said we could get in, and they would just let us in. And so we got in all the time. We'd go visit him in the booth. Finally, we started feeling badly. And we admitted to him that we had been using his name to get in because he's like, wow, you guys are here every week. And we're like, yeah. So we're like, yeah, we've been using your name to get in. And he goes, oh, I wondered what all those deductions were in my paycheck. But
oh, no.
He was joking. He really didn't get any deductions. But yeah, so I used to get in free, which helped.
Well, thank you, Dream Profit, for that. I'll say one of my favorite memories is seeing movies that are hard to find. One of the movies I remember seeing at a drive-in, because my dad loves science fiction. I saw a movie called Empire of the Ants. Remember that movie? It's a cheesy movie, bad special effects. And another movie called The Chosen Survivors. And both of those movies are really hard to find. So it's like these vague, and I'll talk to a lot of people that are like, do you remember this movie? And they have to describe the plot because it's not actually commercially available.
Yeah. Well, drive-ins thrived. There was a big era before you had cable TV, before you had this straight to video idea. Those movies would go to drive-ins because drive-ins had a hard time getting regular product because there were prints, right?
Right.
And especially when multiplexes started happening, you had to have all these prints for all these screens, and drive-ins were sort of the bottom of the barrel to get those. So they were places that played a lot of product. Like there's a lot of people say like Bonnie and Clyde would have never gotten on the radar. It played at drive-ins where the younger audience was going, and that made that film take off. So there's a role in cinema history that drive-ins played in terms of what they played that you might not be able to find other places.
Wow. And then we have a final question here as we wrap up from Akanika, a very dedicated member of the channel. We appreciate the support. Did you have any filming mishaps with the drone, and how did you like working with drone filming?
I really like it. In fact, I'm really happy with the images for this film. I only had one tiny thing when I was shooting at the Mission Tiki, and I backed off of their marquee and I hit a little branch of a tree and it fell to the ground, but it wasn't high because I was just getting a pull back shot of the marquee, and as soon as I did that, I was just like, oh, I got to be more careful. I had a couple times where you're kind of flying and then you spin around and you realize, oh shit, there's a wire right behind me. Good thing I didn't back up anymore. When you get up kind of high and there's poles or whatever. But yes, thankfully I just got used to the device enough that I knew how to look around me and sort of assess things before I did the shot. It's just like any shoot, you have to set up your shot first and get the angle, get what you're going to do. And so luckily I did not have any major. I have not had to replace my drone or replace any propellers on my drone. I know a lot of people have to do that. So far, knock on wood, I haven't had to do that. I'm a good, safe drone pilot.
Cool. Well, April, thank you again for joining the Film Threat Livecast here. The movie Back to the Drive-In is available next week. Get it on demand, rent it, buy it, see it, and then get your ass to a drive-in. That's all I'm going to say to everybody out there watching. April, thank you so much. And I got a good feeling about this movie for award this. I got a feeling. So I think we're announcing nominees in a month or so. Yeah, we're still,
In April, yeah.
all we have is the date of when we're doing it, which is June 10th.
Awesome.
We gotta wait. And
Well,
hope to see you
it was
there.
the best awards show. The last time when I went, I loved everything about it. It was so fun. You
Oh.
guys know how to throw an awards show.
It's just, you know what? We just focus on the most important part of the award show, the drinking and the partying. That's the most important. No, that's not true. Thank you, April. Great. Congrats again. I will see you. I'll see you soon. And congrats on, because I know you're working on something else. You're never not working on another movie.
I am working on a bunch of stuff, but we'll get to that later.
Cool. All right. Take care. Have a great rest of your afternoon.
All
Thanks,
right.
April.
Bye now. Thanks. She's awesome.
Yeah.
April's great. She's the best. And that's about it for us today. I want to say thank you to everybody for joining us. I want to remind you, please join us on Sunday, March 12th. It's our Oscar special. We're going to be doing a watch party starting at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to watch the entire Oscar show. It's going to be crazy. We have Eric Weber, script doctor, Paul Chato as from Heel versus Babyface. Alan, you'll be there. I'll be there.
Yep.
Nerdrotic, Dante James from Verbal Riot, Paulie from Latino Slant, among others. We have a lot of others that are going to be joining the show. It's going to be a big, big show, and we're going to be wearing our best. We're going to be, look at this. We're going to be wearing our best on the show. I think it's fantastic. So there you go.
I will be pretty close to that one.
And Alan, you're going to be at South by Southwest. Like the next week for the two of us is kind of crazy. So we appreciate your support of the channel. We're now getting a decent audience, about 500 people watching us live. We hope it increases. We appreciate your support. And remember the giveaways too for members. Don't forget to check that community tab. I might throw you a reminder. Alan, anything else? Where's your cowboy hat, Alan?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I've already got a list of Texas stuff I got to buy for the kid, and she needs an armadillo because she broke her last one. So,
well, and I don't know. I could just use some Tito's vodka. They make it.
I'm just looking for some good barbecue beef.
Well, there's no shortage of that there, Alan. Let's end this. We got a lot of work to do. See you on Friday. And we'll see you for our watch party. What else, Alan?
Let's see. Oh, someone asked if we'll be at WonderCon. I will be at WonderCon. We'll hopefully get you at WonderCon as well.
Yes, that question. I will not be at WonderCon because they didn't accept any of my panels. And that's it. I don't have a badge. And I am not sure if I'm going to go. If anyone can help me out with a WonderCon badge, I would appreciate it. Maybe you're a dealer who has a booth, may have an extra badge. I'll work your booth.
Yeah, you can do a book signing.
Yes, that's what I'll do.
Just
Alan,
bring a book.
We'll talk. I haven't really talked about it, but yeah, the WonderCon thing has me a little I don't know what's going on. All right. Yeah. And what else, Alan?
Yeah, just visit filmthreat.com. We will have extensive. Oh yeah, and let's get out of here.
That's what I'm trying to get you.